Joining me live to take a look at President Samia Suluhu Hassan's scorecard in the last 1 year is Zito Kabwe, a former member of Tanzania's parliament. Hi, good evening, Honorable Kabwe.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us on NT Continental Prime. Now, let's take a look at the last 1 year of President Samia Suluhu Hassan's reign in office. What's your assessment of her government in the last 1 year?
It has been a hopeful year. I call it a hopeful year. When I wrote for the first 100 days of President Samia Suluhu Hassan, I said it was 100 days of freedoms. But after that, the leader of the opposition, of the largest opposition party in the country, was arraigned and incarcerated for 8 months. Now he has been released, and a number of reform initiatives are being conducted. So for me, it was 12 months or 365 days of hope. Where Tanzanians are freer, civic space is widening, people are free to air their views. Still, there are challenges, and these challenges have to be addressed through legislative processes, which haven't been done so far. So I call it a hopeful year. We hope that in the next 1 year, we will see the needed electoral and political reforms for the country to go back to its democratic dispensation.
Now, Honorable Kabwe, you mentioned some of the positive things President Samia Suluhu Hassan has done in the last 365 days. Some of them are the freedom we see in the civic space. Mr. Freeman Mbowe, who was incarcerated for 8 months, like you rightly said, has been freed, and the international community too has welcomed Tanzania back into its fold after a lot of people have described the late president as a COVID denier, John Magufuli. What would you say has been a major achievement in the last 1 year?
The biggest achievement President Samia has achieved is to bring back happy faces of Tanzanians, the freedoms, because this is something that Tanzanians lacked for the last 6 years. But now Tanzanians are freer. People are free to express their opinions. They criticize the government without any fear. They criticize herself without any fear. But also the president has initiated dialogue between the opposition and other democracy stakeholders and herself. She, as you clearly said, she has already met Tundu Lissu, the former presidential candidate. She has met chairman of the largest opposition party in the country, Freeman Mbowe. Yeah. And in the end of the month, she's opening the largest, one of the largest democracy conference in our country through Tanzania Center for Democracy. So for me, as I said before, it was a hopeful year. The biggest achievement President Samia has brought, or that has been, we have recorded on her tenure, is the fact that the Tanzanians have hope once more.
Okay, you said in an opinion piece you wrote celebrating 100 days in office, you were very hopeful about the things she had done so far. And then shortly after that, Mr. Freeman Mbowe was sent to jail. A lot of people and analysts said it was because of the influence of Magufulistas in the government. 1 year later, do you think President Samia Suluhu Hassan is becoming her own person, and how much has she weaned herself off the old guard and Magufulistas that might be in the government?
We see her getting more confident. We see her making her own decisions. The action that took place when there was a difference between her and Speaker of the National Assembly is a clear indication that she is her own person. She runs the show now. She had played her chess so well, but we are still not sure 100% if the people who used to run the Magufuli system, the people who led the system where critiques of the government were abducted or put to jail, if these people have really resigned to the sidelines or they are sharpening their knives. We are not sure. But for sure, slowly and surely, we have seen the president getting more confident, taking decisions, directing the country in the right path as far as democracy is concerned. But also, we have seen things that we never saw. For the last 6 years, Tanzanians were complaining about a ballooning of national debt, of public debt. And the first debt she took, she made it public. Not only the size of the debt, but also the terms of the debt, and asked people to oversee the use of the money that Tanzania got from IMF for COVID recovery. That was something that we have never experienced, even under President Kikwete, not only under President Magufuli.
Okay.
So we are seeing her own style of leadership. But as I said, everything being done now are not underpinned by any legislative reforms. All the freedoms we're enjoying now are not guided by any legislative reforms. That's why we are asking her to take the next step, to move forward in bringing legislative reforms that will assure freer political activities for political parties, freedom, all fundamental rights being observed properly, but also all the accountability measures being strengthened.
Now, finally, Honorable Kabwe, the COVID-19 pandemic in Tanzania is also worth talking about. Late President John Magufuli famously said, you know, Tanzania is a blessed country and there's no COVID in Tanzania, and there were no testings and all of that. How would you rate President Samia Suluhu's efforts in reducing the number of COVID cases and the vaccination campaign in Tanzania?
We saw the president taking a shift in policy as far as COVID-19 is concerned. But from my perspective, it was not enough, because we still had like 8 months of dark. We did not have statistics. People were not being tested, and we prematurely announced that COVID has been erased in Tanzania, and Tanzania had no COVID, that we fought COVID through prayers and everything. And all these need to be investigated. We don't know really the number of cases in the country. We don't know the amount of people who lost their lives just because of the kind of policy we took. And all these things have to be investigated properly so that we learn. If a pandemic like this happens once again, we will not repeat the same mistakes that we did under the leadership of President John Magufuli.
Okay, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Honorable Kabwe. Thanks for your insights and your time.
Thank you so much.